It's important to keep your Docker images up to date because if you don't, you could put your containers at a security risk. But who's got time to keep track of updates, then manually stop containers, pull these updates and restart the containers? Nobody, that's who. So you need to check out Watchtower. Watchtower is a tool that automatically updates base images, stops and restarts your containers. It's designed to not be used in production. Yep, you heard that right. But it's perfect for home labs, media centers, and local development because there are much better tools to use in production. But also, you should never expose the Docker socket in a production environment. I've made this video to explain exactly why. The link for it is in the description. But anyway, let's check out how to use Watchtower in a simple project. And as usual, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that others can find this content. So here is a compose file that contains a front-end service, which is hosted on Docker Hub under my username, and I've added Watchtower over here. Watchtower doesn't need to be in the same compose file as the containers you want to monitor. It monitors all the running containers, so it should still work if this container was in a different compose file. Right now, I've set Watchtower to check for updates every 10 seconds, but by default, it's set to 24 hours. You could also use the schedule flag or the environment variable and use a cron expression. I've got it in debug mode to get more information in the logs, and I've got it to clean up or remove old images after updating them. I've also got a notification report turned on. This means Watchtower will send me Slack notifications via a webhook. And finally, I have a label to tell Watchtower not to monitor itself. You can add this label to any container you don't want Watchtower to monitor, but you could also add a command to specify what containers you do want Watchtower to monitor. In fact, all of these environment variables could be added as flags in the command field, but I find them much more readable as environment variables. Okay, let's see Watchtower in action. We can see that both the front end and Watchtower containers are running. So if I update the front end service, then build and push the image, we can first see that it's got the image, so it's found it. It's checking if a pull is needed. Then here it's checking for credentials, which I haven't included, so it can't find any. Then if we scroll down, we can see that it's found a remote digest to compare it with. Then it makes this comparison and it sees that the digests don't match, which means the remote one is newer than the local one, and so it has to do a pull. So it pulls the image, and you can see it's found the new image, so it stops the front-end container, and it removes the container, and we can see here the container stopping. Then it creates a new container and starts it up again, which is exactly what we want. We also get a message in Slack to tell us that the container has been updated. This is really cool. I mean, without Watchtower, I would have had to do this all manually, which could take a long time if I had a lot of containers. Watchtower has loads more features, from private registry support to lifecycle hooks, and you can even use it to gather metrics and send these metrics wherever you want. As great as Watchtower is, I personally wouldn't use it to stop my containers and pull images automatically. Let me explain. I tried to test Watchtower locally by creating this local registry and pushing images to it. While it did a great job of finding new images, it was never really able to update them because the container message was missing information and I could never figure out what information it was actually missing. And sometimes I'd get that same issue when trying to pull from a remote registry, even when pulling new images was working fine previously. Now I know most of you won't be checking for updates every 10 seconds, and you most likely won't be testing Watchtower with a local registry, so you might not face the same issues that I did. So if I was using Watchtower, I'd use it in monitor-only mode, which means it will check if there are new images for my containers, and then alert me in Slack. Then I can make the choice to manually update the images I want. And if that's what you're after, then Watchtower isn't the only tool that can do that. So there you have it, my honest opinion of Watchtower. Hopefully you found it useful and it leads to you having more up-to-date Docker images.